Another possibility is that the narcissistic person fears the damage to their reputation that might come from you talking to other people about your experience of the conflict. So they may be acting to get out ahead of the story in a kind of twisted PR exercise, so they get to share their version of the story before you get yours in. And that can be as much an inner psychological defense against having to acknowledge their contribution, their flaws, their mistakes, their inadequacies, or their bad behavior, as it is an attempt to win other people over to get their support and validation. Another motivation may be to use third parties to get information from you. Narcissistic people tend to be fearful of rejection and abandonment, so using another person to get an emotional temperature check before approaching you can be reassuring. It allows them to figure out where you're at and what your likely response to any communication from them might be. That means they don't have to be vulnerable enough to approach you and to find out how you are. They find out from someone else, and it helps them to stay maybe a little more in control of the communication. Now, there are times where a narcissistic person can be so enraged that they launch an all-out attack on your reputation and character. Unfortunately, I've certainly seen that happen to people I've worked with and people who are in my life, and it's extremely distressing. If that's the situation you find yourself in, then my recommendation strongly is to get legal advice from qualified professionals to help guide you through that terrifying, distressing, and actually quite precarious situation. Now, that might help you to make sense of the behavior of the narcissistic person, but what if the other people involved, the ones we might call the flying monkeys? I think it's helpful to remember that gossip and talking about other people is a normal form of human interaction. It's kind of in our nature to do that. In fact, research suggests that as much as 65 to 80% of our communication is talking about people who are not there. Now, that's not to say that all of that communication is negative gossip. We can be talking about people in warm, friendly, and positive ways. But do realize that talking about other people who are not there is a normal part of human interaction.